Okay, so you said people who don't speak English should date outside of America, so they should. So like Spanish speakers.
Yeah, wherever they're from. If they're from Spain, go date in Spain, where they speak Spanish.
Are you thinking of another country that
or Mexico?
Speaks there, okay.
Yeah.
That's where I thought you were going with that.
Well, I am pretty sure they speak Spanish in Spain,
they do
right?
speak Spanish. No, they do. There's not a lot of Spanish illegal immigrants.
That's
you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're mostly Hispanic. That's true.
Yeah. No, but like from Spain.
Spaniards.
Like Spaniards.
Yeah, that's why I said Hispanic and not Spaniard.
Yeah. You also said only men should make decisions for the family, however, in the best interest of his wife and kids and not himself.
Yeah.
Do you want to elaborate on that at all?
I think that the nuclear family structure is the strongest backbone of a society.
Mm-hmm.
And the man is supposed to be a provider and a protector, so it's like right that he makes a decision for his family.
What about in same-sex couple households?
I don't believe in gay marriage.
You have a reaction to that? Go ahead.
Based. Well, I'm sorry. That was
Go
a lot.
ahead. Go ahead. Here, can you scoot your chair into the table?
Yeah. Every time I talk, I come closer. She's.
Yeah, but you just strain your mic too, please. It's like pointing at the moon. Go ahead.
Yeah, of course. That was a very natural reaction of mine to I don't believe in gay marriages. It just cancels the love of some people, and there would be no other love for those. And it's just not the statement that I would ever make out loud, or in my head as well. But I mean, it has, and it's not because it has something to do with me, even though I did experience the same-sex relationship and it wasn't for me. It's just, as soon as I heard it, I was very uncomfortable thinking about the people who are happy in this relationship and that will stay together till the end of their lives.
Yeah, I mean, she said marriage, not love, though.
Yes.
So.
Okay, marriage.
But marriage is like love, is a sign of love.
So.
Do you need is the state required to be married?
Or like a ceremony.
Yeah.
Do you need the state to be married?
Wait, I have a question for you.
Is the state required to be married? Do you need the state to be married?
No.
Well, if you don't need the state to be married, then I don't understand why gay people couldn't get married, even if the state didn't recognize a marriage. I don't get that.
You would need the state to recognize your marriage.
You don't need the state to
for a legal
recognize it.
marriage.
Why?
You don't need to have a legal marriage. You can have commitment ceremony. You can have a marriage in church. So.
Yeah.
And to be fair, she did say love. She's not saying that any relationship.
Yeah.
No.
Usually.
So then you're just calling it marriage without the sacrament or the certificate. You're just calling it marriage.
Well, the sacrament is religious, and as you know, might note, the religious sacrament of marriage excludes what particular group?
No, not necessarily.
Yeah, necessarily. None of the
I'm a Catholic,
religions that
that's
have
not
it as
true.
a sacrament.
That's not true.
Wait, you're a Catholic?
Yeah, name one.
Yes, I'm a Catholic, and that's not true.
Wait, what's not true?
Yeah, it is true in the Catholic Church. Official Catholic doctrine is that LGBTQ marriage is not allowed. That's
I
the
said
official
I'm a Catholic,
doctrine.
but did I say that that's the all Christian doctrine? No,
Yeah,
I just
but
said I
that's
personally am a Catholic, so I'm familiar
Then-
with how Christians.
Are you aware of sacraments then? That Christians have sacraments. She said a sacrament. Marriage is a sacrament to the Catholic Church. It's a sacrament to the Orthodox Church. The churches which will marry LGBTQ people don't see marriage as a sacrament. They don't do sacramental marriage.
Okay.
Set up the split.
So I'd like to note, right, you do recognize that the church excludes this group from marriage. You recognize that that's true, right?
I'm not. I guess they as a sacrament, but I do know that there are churches that will marry gay couples.
Yeah, but
Maybe
would
perhaps not called a sacrament.
Yeah, you would agree with me.
To me, the
that
word
any-
I didn't know sacrament is specific to.
Well, you take communion, right? In
Yeah.
the Catholic Church.
Yes.
What is that?
I understand that that's a sacrament, but I didn't.
Yeah, that's a sacrament.
I thought sacrament was like a holy practice. I thought that could be applicable to any church.
You can call it a sacrament, I guess, but what makes it that? So this is where the argument goes, right? would you agree with me that somebody could worship Satan but ID themselves as a Christian? They could self-ID that way. They could say, I'm a Christian.
Well, you could
even though they
self-ID
worship
yourself
Satan.
as whatever you want, but that doesn't mean it's true.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So you can self-ID as whatever you want, but it doesn't make you that thing. So we have to have specific criteria for what makes you that thing. So the Catholics are going to believe that they are the true church. The Orthodox believe that they are the true church, right?
Yeah.
So they're excluding these groups as being Christians based around self-ID. And I think that that's totally reasonable, but they definitely exclude LGBTQ from marriage.
Okay.
So you think gay people should date or shouldn't date?
They could if they want to, but I mean, I'm just saying that gay marriage isn't a thing because marriage has an objective definition.
What?
Bring it back to the original thing, though.
What original thing?
That with the husbands, but it should be for the
That the man should be making those decisions.
Oh,
man should be making decisions, but
Cheers.
for the benefit of the wife and
Family.
children, not him.
well, yeah, I said that because when people say only, like when the trad guys say like, oh, I only get to make decisions in my family, it sounds kind of like dictator vibes, you know, but that's not what really is about, you know.
Andrew,
What's it about?
It's not about being kind of like prideful and arrogant and making decisions because like you're the only smart one in the household or you're the only competent one. You just make decisions in the best interest of your family.
Yeah, but who gets to determine what's in the best interest of your family?
The guy.
Okay, so then I don't really understand the circular logic here. How could he be doing anything which is prideful or et cetera, unless you are the one who's telling him that if he's the one in charge of the family?
No, I'm saying like other kind of like left-leaning people kind of hear it that way when trad guys claim that.
Well, I disagree with your assessment, and forgive me. I'll steel man it first to make sure that I have it correct, so that I'm not mischaracterizing your position. But I believe that your position here is to say that a man is a sacrifice for his family. Because of that, he is the leader of the family, but that's due to the self-sacrifice for the family, not that he's the leader and he should be leading for himself. He should only be leading for the family, right?
What do you mean leading for himself?
Well, that's what I don't understand. What is the man in the relationship here? He's the leader.
The leader.
But you say his criteria for leadership is self-sacrifice.
Part of it, yes.
Okay. So I don't understand that part
Well,
of the position.
I think God just gave men the role of leadership. Women
Okay, so
make
it's
sacrifices
not for the purpose
within
of
their.
self-sacrifice.
Well, they have to sacrifice.
Yeah, they have to sacrifice, right? But
Yeah.
they have to take care of themselves first, right? Because otherwise, how could they sacrifice to anybody else? So, like, how can a man, for instance, take care of his family if he's not also putting his own needs and welfare to the forefront as well? How could they even do that?
What's an example of like putting
Work.
himself first?
Work. So let's take, for instance, work is sacrificial, right? But he's gonna need to have plenty of R&R time, plenty of relaxed time. He's gonna have to be taking care of himself as well. And part of the obligation, duty of leadership is also putting your needs. I think that you have it backwards. I think a man actually does have to put his needs first in order to make those sacrifices for his family.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's like in the long term, it's beneficial for his family.
Right, exactly. So,
Yeah.
so ultimately, I think that the man does need to have his needs come up first and foremost. Otherwise, he can't take care of anybody else. How could he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all. I was just clarifying the position. So I think the left has it right when they characterize the right and conservatives as saying, well, wait a second, you just think that this man's a meanie head dictator who's putting himself first. Well, in many ways, yes, he is putting himself first, because otherwise how can he sacrifice for you, right? How could he do it, right? If he's not healthy, he's not available to sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
I just think that that's a good thing. I just think it's a good thing, that's all. At least if you wanted a traditional relationship. And it used to be that way inside of traditional relationships, that the movement towards man's relaxation, R&R time, and things like this were catered to. That way he could make those sacrifices with his body, right? That was the point. So, anyway. Yeah, I don't know where Brian wanted to move on from here, so. What is Brian doing? Is he microwaving a burrito right now? Is Brian microwaving a burrito? Oh no. Okay, well this one comes up quite a bit, and I'll bring this one up with the panel real fast. So there's been an ongoing Twitter dispute all over the place. This is with religious and non-religious circles. It's about this question, and the question is: for women in a married relationship, is sex a duty or not a duty? Are you obligated in a marriage to have sex with your husband?
Oh.
And we'll go around the table to ask the question, and we'll start with you. And Red, go ahead.
Yes, I do believe in a. I'm assuming like a normal relationship, assuming there's no like crazy outlying factors affecting the relationship.
Like medical and stuff like that.
Stuff like that. I mean, in a normal marriage, I do think it's your duty, and I do agree with you about a man's needs being catered to in order for him to, fulfill his role as the man of the house or man of whatever, household, relationship, whatever. But also I think it's a man's duty to have sex with his wife too. So.
Okay. Yeah, I understand that. We'll go around the table. Actually, pretty base take. Next.
I am based, by the way. Don't you see I'm in head to toe red? I just like to argue with you.
Wait, really quick, you want pizza?
I do.
Well, I mean, then it's good for you then. So moving to the next on the table.
Pizza.
No, thank you.
Do you need me to repeat the question? You need me to repeat the question, don't you? You checked out to the 18-year-old OnlyFans girl. You just checked out. You don't even know what the question is, do you?
No, I do know what the question is.
All right. Go ahead.
I think you're referring to if sex is a duty for women or men, or just generally in the relationship.
Is there a duty to have sex? Is there an obligation to have sex in marriage?
I think that a relationship or a marriage without sex will eventually die. Because
so the question is not what you think about it, just yes or no. Is there an obligation in a marriage to have sex?
Yes.
Okay. Moving around the table. Next.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't have an opinion on this at this time. I haven't formed an opinion on it.
Me too. Me too.
Okay, so I won't hold this against you, but knee jerk, just like a knee jerk reaction.
My knee jerk leans towards yes, because your physical relationship is part of your union, or what makes someone a significant other. I have 100 platonic relationships, but that's the thing that makes that changes a platonic relationship to an emotional, significant relationship.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
My knee-jerk reaction.
And then
is yes.
moving around the table from there, is a woman obligated to give sex in a relation or in a marriage? Is she obligated to do so?
What is this?
Is it to me?
Yeah. Come on, guys, pay attention. Pay attention. We're going around the table.
I thought you were asking a different question. So
No, it's the same question.
I kind of agree with her, but the way you're phrasing the question kind of sounds forceful, but at the same time, yes. I don't know.
Yeah, so without the caveats, just for now, are you obligated to give sex in a marriage? Are you obligated to do so?
I think it's two different questions. The first question you asked was like, is it a woman's duty to have sex in a relationship?
Yeah, well, what is it? I'm sorry, I'm confused. A duty is an obligation, correct?
Thank you.
Sort of.
Well, what else could it be?
I don't know. It sounds kind of more like forceful.
In fact, I will just give you the Google definition of the word duty. For some reason, I'm guessing, right, that it's going to say obligation right in it. Let's see. Duty definition. A moral or legal obligation. A moral or legal obligation is what a duty is. So, yeah. So is a woman obligated to have sex in her? Okay, then yes. Okay. So then next.
There you go.
Yes, I do think so.
You think so?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Into the mics.
Yes.
Okay.
It should definitely
Moving
be a
on.
part of a marriage.
Yes.
I think it's your duty to fulfill it.
Fulfill.
Thank you. Fulfill. Thanks. Each other's needs. So if sex is one of them, then you should.
So you have an obligation to do so?
If you feel like that in a marriage, yes. If you don't feel like it, no.
Okay. So just very quickly, show of hands at the table. Everybody who said yes, there's an obligation to do so. Okay. So now that we have the obligation standard applied, here's the question. This is going around the feminist circles. There was a woman who was receiving chemotherapy, and her husband came in every single night to receive head from her, right? She was, by this logic, obligated to give him said head. Is that correct? And we'll go around the table again.
Well, I did put that stipulation in my answer. So I think this is like something they should probably talk about in therapy, because I'm assuming maybe the woman is not feeling her best, but I do think, you should still try. You still are in a marriage. However, I think that the man should be like more lenient during these times. Or if you're a very open-minded person, then maybe me personally.
But she's obligated, right?
Well, yes, I do think that you're obligated to ensure that your husband's needs are met. I did not say by you.
Okay.
If you're bald and in chemotherapy and you don't feel like doing it, and you're like, you know what, like I'm just focused on trying to live right now. If you want to go sleep with somebody else, and that's just to fulfill your physical needs, like I think that would be a potential solution. I mean,
yeah, but if they're Christians, they can't do that. That's not an option, right?
I mean,
by the way, we're gonna do you guys can keep talking. We're gonna do a TTS pizza party. It's gonna be a roast session if you guys want. So get in your TTS. You guys continue talking though, but we got some pizza here. Give the girls a little breather.
Yeah. So I think it's case by case basis, but I think that your obligation.
I thought it was obligation before.
No, it's an obligation to make sure your man's needs are met. But did I say that that's your personal obligation? If you're struggling and in chemo, it might not be your obligation. Maybe give the obligation to somebody to take it over temporarily, and then when you're feeling back to your best self and you feel like you can, All
right. Well, let me get the rest of the answers in real quick. So we'll go next. You said it's an obligation, right? So what do you think in this situation?
I think it's still an obligation to have sex, but I think your opinion matters. Like the wife's opinion. If she's in that state, it should depend on her. Okay, well that doesn't sound like an obligation. That sounds like it's optional. But we'll go to the next one then. Obligation. Remember, she has an obligation, yeah?
I would say yes. Of course, it's a very strong word, but I believe that in a couple that actually does have a potential and that is strong enough to survive in the future as the team, it will be an obligation that will not hurt them in any way, neither emotional or physical,
Well, that doesn't sound like an obligation. It sounds like it's just optional. Right?
No, I do not want to make it sound optional. I believe that it is an obligation in the healthy couples that have a chance to survive in the future. In case that this is the kind of bonding that will last, this obligation should not give anybody any discomfort. And in case this situation happens, well, it definitely needs attention and needs to be fixed, either through therapy. It needs to be processed and
Lucas
fixed.
donated $100. Andrew, to answer a rhetorical question. It's simply a tacit acknowledgement that the sum total of their intrinsic value is predicated on their triumvirate of wholes.
That's the funniest shit I've heard all night. You don't even understand what he said, but it's so funny. Okay, so, but I don't understand. You can't just be any discomfort, like, oh, I'm tired from work. You wouldn't accept that, right? So it's not just predicated on discomfort, right? There has to be some other criteria that we're applying here.
The legendary Trash Panda donated $100. Panel, you meet the perfect guy, 6-figure income, early 40s, dad bod, wants to wife you but refuses to get legally married. Covenant marriage only. Chair 3, I can fix you, let me see them feet.
What the fuck do you mean by that?
He can fix you.
But what does it have to do with my feet? I genuinely want to understand what happened. What does it mean? Why feet?
He masturbates to women's feet.
All right, but how can he fix me by that?
Well, he's not saying he would fix you by that. He's saying he could fix you using external mechanisms, but he wants a picture of your feet to fap to because he's a coomer.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Johnny Spiral donated $30. Andrew, I was looking forward to your debate with Dillahunty. Why did you have to make him leave like a whiny little bald baby biatch? Oh well. W for Andrew. Oh. Brian. No hot dogs today? Johnny.
Just a pizza.
Jake donated $30. If a wife declines to have sex and a man sleeps with another woman, is she to blame?
Good question. Well, I mean, that was literally going to be the lead-in to the next question, right? Sons
of Liberty donated $29.99. Who will or would you vote for, if you could, Trump or Kamala? If Kamala, name one policy of hers that you support besides abortion.
Wait, so we'll get back to Jake's. We'll answer Sons of Liberty. So Jake said, here, I'll pull it back up really quick. I want the entire panel to answer. Sorry, guys, it's paused 1 second.
Jake donated $30. If a wife declines to have sex and a man sleeps with another woman, is she to blame?
Here, just show of hands on this from the whole panel. Is she to blame?
Is the hand yes or?
Okay, all right. How about we'll go around then? Yes or no?
Yeah, the hand is yes.
Oh.
No, they can't do it. They don't understand the instructions. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yes or no?
Not always.
Okay. Do I accept the non-answer?
So I'm saying that, like, sometimes I feel like if a woman is being like, if you haven't had sex with your wife in like a long time, like she's being like, she's just not into it, whatever, and he cheats, like it's not like justifiable, but I guess it's more understandable.
Okay. What about you?
No.
No.
These aren't simple, absolute questions to answer, and
we're doing a brief session. You got to give quick answers here.
No, but it's my turn to answer Andrew's question next.
No.
If they talked about it and they agreed upon it, yes.
Okay. But you guys are all fine, like justified he can divorce her. You're fine with that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. And then, who are you going to vote for, Trump or Kamala?
Trump.
You're Canadian. Yeah. Trudeau or Polivier? Polivier?
Trump.
Okay. We are going to annex Canada.
I'm not eligible to vote.
Who would you vote for?
I will skip that question. Sorry.
I feel like we know.
I've been a third-party voter since 2012.
So you're
So you're
voting for
going to vote
RFK?
Trump this time, though, right?
I've been a third-party voter since 2012, and I sent in my absentee ballot before I left. And it was not for RFK.
It was not for Trump.
No.
You have failed us. You have failed us in every conceivable. I had hope for you. I had hope.
Andrew, we have ranked choice voting in Alaska, and I voted for Chase Oliver first and then Trump second, so he gets a half a vote from me.
Yeah, but he could have got the full vote.
But I needed to represent a third party because it's important to vote for third parties so that they become contenders.
No one.
Come on.
But you're not voting?
No.
Why not?
There's no point.
Okay. If you were in
With
Pennsylvania,
opinions like those, I think you
guys,
probably should,
Brian,
girl.
better moving on from that. I'm telling you, moving on from that.
Trump's too, like, Democrat now.
wait. And
So you're
text me why.
libertarian.
Text me why, Andrew.
No.
Oh, I thought she was going to bring up election fraud. That's why.
Oh.
I'm not going to answer that question.
Okay, you?
I live in Belgium.
Oh, she